Barbara Ross has published 3 poetry collections, Bite Every Sorrow, One Hidden Stuff, and Last Skin, and her fellowships include grants from the Guggenheim Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, and the Artist Foundation of San Antonio. She's published poems in the New Yorker magazine, Tin House, Granta, as well as many other magazines and anthologies, and she also edited a collection of short fiction in translation called Costa Rica, a Traveler's Literary Companion. She lives here in San Antonio, where she is the founding director of Trinity University Press. So if you talk to her later, maybe she'll publish your book. Please welcome, I believe it's pronounced Barbara Ross.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming, and I am especially glad to follow someone who sells something, since poets sell nothing. So I'm going to have to eat humble pie here, but I'm going to talk about poetry and the creative process. So here we start with the incomparable Grace Paley, a writer who published 10 celebrated books in her lifetime. She was also a peace activist. She was a very busy woman. Yet, she said, in order to cultivate the spirit of writing poems, I have to cultivate a spirit of indolence. So here's what indolence looks like. You empty your mind of the daily grind. You dip into books to remember why you liked poetry to begin with, anything to get a jump start, browsing old notebooks to fan a bonfire into a fire. Here's what the indolent mind sees: fluffy, comfy clouds, roads leading to mysterious places, doodles, yes, anything that looks like writing. And don't you love that little temple on the horizon that looks like Shangri-La? Well, maybe not Shangri-La, but a writer does need a place protected from interruption and noise. It could be the space behind this door where the hanger says, "Silence now, emergencies only." And in smaller writing, "You're reading all this, right?" But nothing gets done unless you put your seat in the seat of the chair. Paper, pen, and you staring. The blank page, every second an hour, every hour an eternity. You know you're an imposter. Then you begin, but it resembles this. It's Martian text, taken down during a seance by a medium who visited Mars on August 22nd, 1897. Hey, yesterday was the 99th anniversary of her vision. An idea? But no, poems don't start with ideas. As Ursula Le Guin says, writing depends on mood, voices, emotions. A poem usually begins like a trip planned by a long-lost friend to an unknown destination. Feelings carry a poem. Then you remember the quote by Malebranche, a quote you've repeated often. Attention is the natural prayer of the soul. And here is a soul paying attention. And notice that the soul is moving forward. Writers can't look inward because it depletes your inner resources. But attentive wandering can pay off. You go into the kitchen, and there on the whiteboard at the bottom, you see the words, "Bugs pray." Oh my God. This is it, the trigger for a poem. So, a beginning. What next? The indolence was wonderful, maybe even the best part. But where do you go now? What do I know about bugs? I hate bugs. Maybe I hate poetry. Of course, you can bet your life the plants need watering, and clothes need folding, and unlike poems, there are chores galore. Notice, however, not one, but 3 seats haunt you. They beckon you, but what about the garbage? Well, maybe you need more attention. An internet search reveals this. Aha! A praying mantis. Praying, but also praying. After copulating, the female praying mantis eats her mate. So you wonder and you wander, and creativity begins to take shape. But you wonder, is there even a good line in this crappy first draft? You suspect the idea of bugs pray sucks. So then you think, what about a poem about the chewing gum man? But then Jiminy Crickets, someone else got there first. Learning to write can only be accomplished by practice, dragging a donkey through the mud again and again and again. In other words, by work. Note this man is at work digging up roots, big roots, with a big machine. Roots are a metaphor for the unconscious, and of course the unconscious plays a major role in creativity. It works while we sleep or daydream. Or as earlier, when my mind cast up Jiminy Crickets, it's like, Jiminy Crickets? Who says that? A new day. You've slept on it, and the draft begins to take place on the typed page, and it begins, bugs pray and arrange from dry ice to boiling oil, dividing their supplications, like us, between panic and desire. But how do you know if it's good? Robert Creeley once said, poetry is a team sport. I think he meant you need your team to critique and support your work. Here's my team. Then, the familiar shock of the new page. Gene Fowler once said, writing is easy. All you do is stare at a blank sheet of paper until drops of blood form on your forehead. This page has been well attended. So then you turn on the tap. Eventually, single letters may arrive, like in Ron Aluchny's sculpture called Spew. Don't focus on the words woe and me in the tiles. Choke down self-doubt and get to work.
There you go. Very cool. Which one did you like? Do you want that one?
Yeah, sure. Hi.
Okay, very cool. You, okay, I just had a couple of questions because some people might be surprised that it seems like it's more work to be a poet than we might think, that you just, being in a bong and you open a vein and it comes out naturally. It doesn't?
It's kind of like I said, you stare at a page long enough until blood forms on your forehead. And there's all of these issues of self-criticism and self-doubt, and you think, I'll never write again, this is the end, nothing's coming, blah, 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 blah. And it takes a long time, and you've got your donkey, you've got to pull your donkey through the mud, and sometimes your donkey isn't cooperative, so, it's a process.
Man, I love metaphors. Or is that an analogy? I don't know.
No, I actually have a donkey.
I work in TV, so I'm not really sure what to go. Really?
Yeah, my donkey's name is Burro.
Where does your donkey stay?
It stays under my pillow.
Oh, okay. Now, what would you tell people? I know there's some people out there very creative who might want to get into poetry. What is the toughest part? And when you tell people, hey, I'm a poet, what kind of reaction do you have to deal with?
Well, you get the eye roll, and then you get, what do you write about? And of course, in poetry, as I said, it's not ideas, so you can't say, well, I write about the Empire Theater and I write about television personalities. Basically, what I say is I write about life and death and love. That sort of covers it.
Cool. And now where can we read things like Bugs Pray?
Well, in my next book, I hope, and we'll see.
And if anybody out there wants to publish a book, Trinity University Press?
I think that they should go to our website first and see what we publish and check out whether your book fits our mission. And maybe there's a match, but we're pretty selective, and you never know. It's kind of like Match.com. Maybe you find the love of your life, or
a bad donkey. Or not. Thank you very much, Barbara Ross.
Thank you.
And it's Ross.